Hello everyone, my name's Misbah. Welcome back to another video. Today I've come to Gorton Monastery in Manchester. It was built in 1871. It was designed by an architect called Edward Pugin, and it had these Gothic arches. It was a copy of the Basilica in Rome, so it was a great Catholic monastery. In 1989, it was closed down and sold to a property developer. The property developer went bankrupt, so for many years the building lay empty, it was vandalised, it fell into disrepair. So a committee was set up by local residents to try and conserve the building and do something with it. In 1997, it was put on a list of it became a World Heritage Site, and it was put on a list of 100 buildings that were in danger of being destroyed if they were not preserved. And so it got funding, and then it's also had other funding, lottery funding, and so it's had this restoration. £6 million has been spent in restoring it, and I've come today to see what it's like. The man at the desk at the front said that it's not a religious place anymore, it's not consecrated, so no religious functions are held here, but you can hire the building for any kind of party or celebration, or for any meetings or business meetings. So the place is available for anyone to hire, but it's not of religious use. It's been restored, and I've come to see what it's like inside. So come with me, I hope you'll find it interesting. So I'm inside the restored bit of the monastery now, and as you can see, the beautiful symmetry of the Gothic arches behind me. I think you find three things when you come here. First, it's how beautiful it is, and how, you know, the beauty of the restoration and how well they've done it. And secondly, you get uplifted because it's such a peaceful, calm place. So even though it's not used for religious functions, you still feel it's a place of beauty and it's calm. And you do have a positive feeling and you feel uplifted by being here. And then lastly, you get this feeling of history, of how old it is, what an old building, and how many people would have worshipped here and the visitors that would have come here. So it's well worth a visit. I'm really glad that I've come. The older part here is the chapel and the high altar, and you can see it's not been restored. This was damaged by water damage and by vandalism, but it's been left how it was, because there's still a beauty in seeing it how it was historically, rather than replastering it and losing that. So this end of the monastery has actually not been restored. It's been preserved but left how it would have been originally. So in this part of the video, I want to talk about a children's book, Tom's Midnight Garden by Philippa Pearce. It was published in 1958, and I remember reading it as a child, and it's a book that stayed with me, so I think it's stood the test of time. It's about a boy called Tom, whose brother has measles, so his parents make a decision to send Tom to stay with his aunt and uncle for a few weeks. And his aunt and uncle live in an apartment in a large manor house, and there is no garden. There's just some backyards with some bins. So Tom is cooped up in this apartment. He's not allowed to go out or mix with anyone else because he might be contagious. And so we start off with a very sulky and angry Tom. He goes to bed and hears a grandfather clock, which is in the hallway. He hears it chiming 13. So he gets up to investigate. And as he opens the back door and goes outside, he finds this beautiful large garden. It has hedges, flower beds, a stream running through it. So it's this fantastic garden. And in the garden, he makes friends with a little girl called Hattie. And so the book is about their time together. Time goes much faster in the garden. So they'll have hours and hours there. And then when Tom goes back into the house, the garden disappears and he's only been gone a few minutes. So each night he slips out. And it's a mixture of a time travel book and a ghost story. So Tom is convinced that Hattie, who is this Victorian girl, is a ghost, and she thinks that Tom is a ghost in her world. And when he goes to the garden, it's different seasons. So sometimes it's the height of summer and he shares in these fun activities with Hattie. Other times it's winter and there's one scene where they go skating on the river. So there's different seasons. Also, Tom stays the same age because he's just there a few days. But each time he goes back, Hattie has grown up and she's a different age. So it starts with her being a little girl, and then at the end of the book she's a young woman, and as she's growing older she can't see Tom and he's becoming fainter, and so we the reader realise that their connection is being weakened and will be broken. There's a really poignant scene at the end. There's a twist at the end which I won't spoil for you, and there's a scene at the end which is incredibly sad but happy as well, and it made me cry when I read it. Reading it as a child, I loved the mystery elements of the ghost story and time travel. Reading it again as an adult, what I really like is the friendship between Hattie and Tom. And Tom starts off as this sulky, angry, frustrated child. And then his time with Hattie causes him to develop. And by the end, he's a caring, a considerate young man. So a really lovely book, a really good read, and I recommend it. So thank you for watching this video. See you next time.